Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Paris Olympics off to a glittering start with grand opening ceremony at Seine River. 10,500 athletes to compete in 329 medal events over 15 days. Indian athletes to compete in shooting, badminton, tennis and hockey today. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu meets Republican candidate for presidentship Donald Trump in Florida, calls relations good between the two. Trump calls Harris's remark on Gaza conflict disrespectful. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair federal policy think tank NITI Aayog's 9th Governing Council meeting on Saturday to focus on Viksit Bharat 2047 documents to make India a developed nation. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds meetings with counterparts on the sidelines of ASEAN, says political, economic and security cooperation with ASEAN is one of the utmost priorities. India remembers Missile Man of India and People's President Bharat Ratna Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam on his 9th death anniversary. Let's begin with all the updates from Olympics. Paris Olympics 2024 got off to a glittering ceremony on Friday with an unprecedented and ambitious show with close to 7,000 athletes parading down the river Seine alongside some of Paris's most famous landmarks. The ceremony saw heavy rain too, but it failed to dampen the spirit of the thousands present there. The Indian contingent was led by PV Sindhu and Sharat Kamal. For the first time in Olympic history, the opening ceremony took outside the main stadium with some 300,000 people watching in person from specially built stands on the river banks. A fleet of barges took the competitors on a 6-kilometer stretch of the river as performers entertained spectators watching from the banks of the river. Talking of the Indian action, then two Indian teams will be in action in the 10 meters air rifle mixed team qualification event as India begin their hunt for the medals as early as the opening day. Shooters and badminton stars will also begin their campaigns in Paris on Saturday. DD India's Narayan Singh brings us full schedule of Indian athletes on day one of the games.
Today is an important day for the Indian squad at the Paris Olympics. India will start their campaign with shooting. The 10-meter air rifle mixed team qualification starts at 12:30 p.m. The first team consists of Ramita Jindal and Arjun Babuta, and in the second team, which will consist of Velavivan and young shooter Sandeep Singh. Both the teams need to finish in the top 4 to qualify for the gold medal match here in Paris. If we talk about the next event, that is 10-meter air rifle pistol men's qualification in shooting, features Sarabjot Singh and Arjun Singh Chima. At 2 p.m., they need to finish in the top 10 to advance to the finals. In the tennis, Rohan Bopanna and Ansri Ram Balaji will compete against Ribol F and Roger Vaseline in men's doubles round of 32 at 3:30 p.m. They must need to win to qualify for the round of 16. And the 10-meter air rifle pistol women's qualification in shooting begins at 4 p.m. with Manu Bhakar and Rhythm Sangwan participating. And they need to finish in the top 10 to qualify for the finals. And now talking about badminton, where Lakshyan will face Kevin Cordon in the men's singles group stage at around it, we can say that the evening 7 p.m. A win is necessary to move into the knockout stage here for the team. And talking about table tennis, Harmeet Desai will play against Jay Dabo in the men's singles starting round at around 7 p.m. He needs to win this match to enter to the main draw of the round of 64. And talking about badminton, where India's top shuttler duo Satvik Swairaj and Chirag Shetty will compete. In the men's doubles, it will be around 8 p.m. And after that, we can say that here they need to win to top the group. While our Indian men's hockey team will play against the New Zealand in a pool match. It is around 9 p.m. And in badminton, another match, Ponappa and Castro will face the Hong Kong team. After that, we can say that in the next match in boxing, Preeti Pawar will compete against Thi Kim An Ho in the women's 54 kg category in the round of 32. And here she needs to win to advance to the round of 16. So this was a roundup of the schedule from Paris on the day one of the coveted game.
In boxing, India is fielding a 6-member boxing team at Paris Games who will fight for glory. DD India's correspondent Narayan Singh talked to the Indian boxing team physiotherapist Soumya Jyoti Haldar on Athlete Village and also the chances of Indian boxing team winning the medals. Take a listen in.
The Indian team is ready to shine at the Paris Games, and right now I am joined by the physiotherapist of the boxing team, Soumya Jyoti Haldar. Soumya, a very warm welcome. You are here in the Games Village with the athletes. So what different is with the Games Village this time around? Give some close view, synopsis. What kind of facilities are there in the Games Village for the players?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for this. Basically, like as compared to Asian Games, this the organizing committee they basically make all the arrangement eco-friendly. Like if you see the bed and all, they make with the cardboards, so there is no wooden thing as used. And plus the cooling facility, basically they use the groundwater system. The internal pipelines are going inside the walls, and they have provided. I'm thankful to our IOC committee. They have provided a pedestrian fan to each and every room, and the weather is so pleasant as compared to our India. Plus the food quality is good. Earlier they were facing problem, but now everything is managed so well, and we are getting too much for good facilities from IOC India.
What are the chances of the Indian boxer taking into their fitness condition, as you are the physiotherapist of the team?
Yeah, boxers are like in health wise and fitness, they're perfectly fine. They are too excited and they're completely fit for the upcoming tournament. And yes, they are super excited for the upcoming game. And tomorrow we have a bout. Preeti is going to win, and hopefully we'll get maximum medals in a boxing, and we'll look forward to good.
So the Indian squad is looking forward to win medals at the Paris Games, as the physiotherapist of the boxing team, Soumya, told about the Games Village where athletes are living, and it's an eco-friendly village where athletes are getting all sorts of facilities. And the most important thing is that all the norms are there to make the games greenest games of all time. With camera person Senthil, Narayan Singh for DD India, Paris.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended his best wishes to the Indian contingent taking part in the Paris Olympics 2024. Prime Minister on a social media platform wrote, and I quote him, "As the Paris Olympics commences, my best wishes to the Indian contingent. Every athlete is India's pride. May they all shine and embody the true spirit of sportsmanship, inspiring us with their exceptional performances." All right, so that was about Paris Olympics 2024. Let's turn focus to other updates now. In the U.S., Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with the Republican candidate for President Donald Trump on Friday, calling the relations good between the two. Israel's leader is wrapping up a week in the U.S., during which he pushed for continued support from Washington. DD India's Caroline Malone gets us more.
Well, Donald Trump pledged to work towards peace in the Middle East and to combat anti-Semitism. That on Friday, after meeting with the Israeli leader, Benjamin Netanyahu. And Netanyahu has been in talks with many different groups over this week. He met earlier in the week with President Joe Biden and then Vice President Kamala Harris, who of course is the likely candidate for the Democratic Party moving forward. You know, overall, it's a chance for Israel to continue to push to get support from the United States for its campaign, in particular against Hamas. In Netanyahu's wording to Congress on Wednesday, he was framing it as the US being the closest allies to Israel, needing Israel as an ally in the Middle East, and also the US and Israel having the same enemies. And so therefore any benefit, any win for Israel is also a win for the United States. But we also heard slightly different messaging from Harris and also from Trump in earlier interviews, Trump in particular saying, He's keen to see an end to the war. He's keen to see the end of the fighting between Israel and Hamas. And Harris was saying much the same, and going even further and saying she has very large concerns about the impact on the civilian population in Gaza. That's something that's been criticised by Trump, and even some suggestion that it might impact any ceasefire talks. But ultimately, there does seem to be some agreement amongst most US leaders and potential future leaders here, which is that there needs to be a ceasefire, there needs to be a release of hostages, and that needs to happen sooner rather than later. Now, President Biden, of course, met with Netanyahu a few days ago. Now that he's not standing to be president again, analysts are saying it's an opportunity for him to have more capacity during his remaining time, 6 months in office, to focus on big foreign policy and domestic issues that include the Israel-Hamas war, with the US keen to continue to pursue peace talks and try to get ultimately to a ceasefire. Caroline Malone in Washington for DD India.
China's government is calling on the municipalities to prepare for tropical storm Gami, which is heading inland. The storm has already killed dozens of people in Taiwan and the Philippines and is now set to bring heavy rainfall to already badly flooded regions of China. DD India's Chris Gilbert gets us more from Tokyo.
The storm affected 630,000 households as it made landfall on the Fujian coast of China on Friday. About half of that number were requested to relocate or evacuate or find shelter from the storm surges, from the deluges, and from the severe winds of up to 100 kilometers an hour, and from the heavy rainfall of an accumulated 250 millimeters for that part of China. And while it was severe, it was significantly weakened from Thursday when it hit Taiwan with almost twice as strong winds of more than 205 kilometers an hour sustained gusts and almost 2 meters of accumulated rainfall hitting Taiwan throughout Thursday. However, the danger is not over. The storm is now heading into the central area of China. It is bringing this rainfall with it, and this is a part of the country which has already been strongly affected, significantly affected by weeks of summer rains. These are parts of the country like in Jiangxi province, which have already been elevated to the orange alert. That's the second highest out of 4 alert levels for flooding risk and dangers. There is the highest amount of flooding and river levels in the region on record of 15 meters. And the central government in China has held an emergency meeting on flooding to evaluate the danger and call on local municipalities as the storm approaches to work to prevent rivers from breaching, prevent reservoirs from collapsing, and to save as many lives as possible, as Gami has already claimed lives throughout the Philippines and throughout Taiwan, and China's central government certainly wants to prevent any more fatalities if it can possibly do so. The storm is heading for Jiangxi province, which is home to the largest freshwater lake in China, and so with the risk of those banks bursting, with the risk of flooding and heavy rain in the future, even though the storm has weakened since it hit Taiwan, the danger has certainly not passed for China. Chris Gilbert in Tokyo reporting for DD India.
Firefighters in California are battling a series of hot spots across the state. The wildfire has forced thousands to flee their homes in a fast-moving blaze that is the largest in California so far this year. Butte County District Attorney Mike Ramsey said in a statement that the Iman Ronnie Dean Scout 2 was jailed without bond on a Butte County judge's warrant after he was identified as the person seen pushing a flaming car into a gully on Wednesday, July 24th afternoon. Wildfire rages near the eastern Canadian community of Labrador City of Canada. The city was ordered to be evacuated on Friday in the face of the encroaching wildfire. There were 11 active wildfires in Labrador on Friday evening, and the weather conditions increased the potential of fire activity over the weekend. Authorities say the fire has the potential to grow significantly closer to Labrador West. Residents are encouraged to remain vigilant. Other stories from the world making it to the headlines now. Passengers on the Eurostar train experienced significant delays on their journey from London to Paris. Reports indicate that the delay lasted for several hours, causing frustration among the travellers. The Eurostar service, known for its convenience and speed, usually offers a swift connection between the two major cities, making this extended delay particularly notable. Passengers took to social media to express their dissatisfaction and share their experiences, with some highlighting the lack of communication and updates during the disruption. Dallas firefighters and emergency crew battled to put out a large fire in southeast Dallas in Texas. Heavy smoke billowed out from the church, caused from a partially collapsed roof, as crews of firefighters worked to contain the flames. Infrared views showed much of the roof had collapsed. No fatalities were reported, but one individual was seen being tended to on a stretcher. You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, revised NEET undergraduate 2024 results announced. 17 students achieve a perfect score. Alarming reduction in water levels witnessed across several water bodies in Kashmir as the heaven on earth swelters under a scorching heat wave.
This summer, the world turns its eyes to Paris, and DD India brings you every heartbeat, every victory, and every story. Introducing our special coverage of the Paris Olympics. Experience the passion, the drama, and the triumphs. With exclusive reports, expert analysis, and up-to-the-minute updates. Join us as we bring the spirit of the Olympics to your screens.
Get ready for the ultimate sporting extravaganza on DD India.
DD India presents Champions Day Paris. Only on DD India. Every day at 6:30 p.m. IST, 1 p.m. GMT.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will chair the 9th Governing Council meeting of NITI Aayog on Saturday, to be held at the Rashtrapati Bhavan Cultural Centre. The theme of this year's meeting is Viksit Bharat 2047, with a central focus on making India a developed nation. This meeting will discuss the approach paper for vision document on Viksit Bharat. NITI Aayog said the Governing Council meeting aims to foster participative governance and collaboration between the centre and the state governments, enhancing the quality of life for both rural and urban population. The meeting will also see detailed deliberations on the role of states in achieving the goal of Viksit Bharat. NITI Aayog said India is on track to become the world's third largest economy, with gross domestic product, that is GDP, crossing $5 trillion and aspirations to reach a $30 trillion economy by 2047. The ASEAN group of countries held post-ministerial conferences on Friday with Britain, Russia and South Korea as part of the ASEAN foreign ministers' meetings in Laos. Among other things, they spoke about the progress they had made in their relations with the Southeast Asian grouping. The meetings in the Laotian capital seek to advance a stalled bid to resolve a crisis in Myanmar and cool tensions in the South China Sea. Earlier, Laos Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister welcomed the delegates before presenting the host country's traditional cuisine and cultural performances on Friday. The two summits will be held on Saturday to address key global issues. These will be attended by countries and entities such as the US, Japan and the EU. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held meetings with his counterparts from South Korea, Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia and the European Union on the sidelines of ASEAN events in Laos on Friday. Dr. S. Jaishankar met Cho Tae-yeol, the Foreign Minister of Republic of Korea, and held a wide-ranging conversation on special strategic partnership. He also met Joseph Borrell, the High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy. The leaders discussed enhancing the India-EU ties in areas of trade, clean energy transition and advanced technologies. The minister also held conversation with Singapore Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan. Both the leaders spoke about creating a new agenda for our bilateral ties. The foreign minister also met Indonesian Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi. He congratulated her stint as foreign minister and appreciated her contribution towards India, Indonesia and India-ASEAN relations. Dr. S. Jaishankar also met his Malaysian counterpart, Muhammad Haji Hassan, and discussed the initiatives in the bilateral relation between the two countries. Earlier in the day, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met his Russian counterpart, Sergei Lavrov, on the sidelines of the ASEAN events in Laos. The picture was shared by the Russian embassy in India. In his remarks in the ASEAN post-ministerial conference, Dr. S. Jaishankar said that political, economic and security cooperation with ASEAN is one of the utmost priorities. Dr. S. Jaishankar said that for India, ASEAN is the cornerstone of its Act East policy, the Indo-Pacific vision that was built on it, and the people-to-people linkages that India is constantly seeking to expand. Other stories making it to the headlines from across India now. The National Testing Agency, that is the NTA, released the revised NEET UG 2024 results, with 17 students achieving a perfect score, marking a 75% drop in the number of toppers from the earlier declared results. The current heat wave gripping Kashmir has resulted in a significant reduction in water levels across several key water bodies, sparking concerns among the environmentalists, local communities and government officials. This heat wave has accelerated the evaporation process, causing critical water bodies such as Dal Lake, Wooler Lake and Jhelum River to see a sharp decline in water levels. India remembers its former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, popularly known as the Missile Man of India, on his 9th death anniversary on Saturday. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam left an unforgettable mark on India with his highly renowned contribution to science and technology, inspirational leadership and humble behavior. Observing Dr. Kalam's death anniversary in 2024 is a great opportunity for every individual to reflect on his life and achievements. The CRPF is celebrating its 86th Raising Day on 27th of July. This special day honors the significant and unmatched contribution of the force in safeguarding the unity, integrity and sovereignty of our country. On this momentous occasion, the CRPF is paying homage to its brave martyrs and reaffirming its unwavering dedication to protect the nation. Taking to social media platform X, CRPF said, and I quote, "CRPF on 27th of July, the Indian Army is celebrating its glorious history of the last 85 years filled with valor, courage, sacrifice and devotion to duty. Heartiest congratulations to all the force personnel and their families on the 86th CRPF Foundation Day." The Eiffel Tower was lit up in red, blue and white as the Olympic Games opening ceremony wrapped up, marking the official start of the world-class tournament. Take a look. All right, that's all in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. And for this, you can download the respective QR codes for Android and iOS platforms. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.